I'm 74. These 4 morning mistakes nearly ruined my health. Don't repeat them. Have you ever gotten up in the morning, shuffled into the kitchen for a cup of coffee, and thought, why do I already feel tired? Or maybe your joints are a little stiffer, your balance feels off, or your energy just isn't kicking the way it used to. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Mornings can feel different after 70, and not always in the best way. But here's the good news, sometimes, it's not age that's slowing us down. It's just a few small mistakes we don't even realize we're making first thing in the morning. I want to talk to you today like a good friend would, someone who cares about your health, your energy, and helping you enjoy each day to the fullest. Because mornings matter. The way we start our day sets the tone for everything that follows. And for those of us over 70, making a few simple changes can mean the difference between feeling sluggish all day and feeling strong, clear-headed, and ready for whatever comes our way. So, let's talk about it, for common morning mistakes that are surprisingly easy to make after 70, and more importantly, what we can do to fix them. No guilt, no judgment, just small steps that can make a real difference. Let's start with the first one, and it might surprise you. One of the biggest mistakes many people over 70 make in the morning is getting out of bed too quickly. You might be thinking, well, of course I get up fast, I've got things to do. But here's the thing, as we get older, our blood pressure regulation isn't quite as quick as it used to be. That sudden jump from lying down to standing up can cause something called orthostatic hypotension. It's a fancy term, but what it really means is a sudden drop in blood pressure. And that drop can lead to dizziness, lightheadedness, or even a fall. Falling is one of the biggest risks for people over 70, and it often happens during those first few moments out of bed. So, what can we do instead? Try this simple routine. Before you swing your legs over the side of the bed, sit up slowly. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your toes, roll your shoulders, maybe even stretch your arms up. Give your body a minute to wake up. Then, when you're ready, plant your feet firmly on the ground and stand up slowly. It might only take an extra 30 seconds, but it could save you from a dangerous fall and set the tone for a steadier, calmer morning. Now, let's move on to another one, and this one's easy to overlook, skipping water in the morning. Most people wake up dehydrated and don't even realize it. Overnight, we lose fluids just by breathing, especially if we sleep with our mouths open or under warm blankets. And yet, many of us go straight to coffee or tea first thing, which can actually dehydrate us more. You might not feel thirsty right away, but that doesn't mean your body isn't craving hydration. Dehydration can cause fatigue, brain fog, constipation, and even affect your heart health. The solution? Keep a glass or small bottle of water by your bedside. Make it the first thing you reach for in the morning. Even just half a glass can give your system the wake-up call it needs. If plain water feels boring, try adding a squeeze of lemon or a splash of cucumber for a little flavor and a refreshing boost. Think of it this way, your body is like a garden. And every morning, it needs a little watering to bloom and function its best. And trust me, your joints, your brain, and even your skin will thank you for it. Now here's a third one that may not sound dangerous at first, but over time, it really adds up, starting the day without moving your body. I'm not talking about an intense workout or a trip to the gym. I mean simply moving. Stretching, walking, loosening your joints. So many people, especially after 70, start their morning in a very sedentary way, sitting at the kitchen table, watching the news, maybe scrolling a bit. And while there's nothing wrong with a quiet start, our bodies were made to move. After sleeping all night, our muscles and joints are stiff. Our circulation is slower. Even 5 minutes of gentle movement can help wake up the body, improve balance, reduce stiffness, and even lift your mood. Try doing a few light stretches before breakfast, maybe raise your arms overhead, gently twist side to side, march in place for a minute, or do a few shoulder rolls. If you have stairs, go up and down once or twice slowly, using the rail for support. If you prefer to sit, seated leg lifts or ankle circles are great too. Movement tells your brain, we're awake now. Let's get going. It boosts blood flow, warms up the muscles, and can even help digestion if you're planning to eat soon after. Plus, it gives you a little win first thing, something to feel good about before the day has even really started. So, we've talked about getting out of bed too fast, skipping water, and staying too still for too long. These might sound like small things, but as you probably know, it's often the little habits that shape how we feel day after day. And the beautiful thing is, every single one of these can be adjusted. Gently. Simply. Starting tomorrow morning. And now that we've covered these first few, let's keep going. Because there's one more habit that quietly slips into so many of our routines without us realizing how much it's affecting our body, our mind, and even our mood, and that habit is skipping breakfast, or eating the wrong kind of breakfast. Now, I know breakfast means different things to different people. Some folks wake up hungry and ready to eat. Others barely feel like chewing until hours later. But here's the thing, after a full night's sleep, your body has been fasting for 8, 9, even 10 hours. It's running on empty. And for people over 70, that morning meal isn't just about filling the belly, it's about refueling your brain, supporting your muscles, and keeping your blood sugar steady so you don't feel weak, lightheaded, or foggy-headed later on. What's even trickier is that many of the breakfast foods we grew up with, toast with jam, a plain bagel, a bowl of cereal, those foods are often loaded with sugar and refined carbs, but very little protein or fiber. So what happens? You get a quick burst of energy, but then a crash an hour or two later. Suddenly, you feel tired, cranky, maybe even shaky, and you're reaching for another snack just to get by. Here's a better way to think about breakfast. Give your body something that sticks with you. Something that feeds your muscles and your brain. That could mean an egg or two with a slice of whole grain toast. A small bowl of oatmeal with a handful of nuts and berries. Or even a smoothie with a little yogurt, banana, and some flaxseed thrown in. You don't need a full buffet, just a balance. A little protein, a little healthy fat, and something with fiber. That combination gives you lasting energy, supports your digestion, and even helps with things like memory and focus. And if you're someone who doesn't usually eat breakfast, that's okay too, but it might be worth experimenting. Try something light to start, half a banana, a boiled egg, even just a handful of almonds with your morning tea. See how your body responds. You might be surprised at how much better you feel by mid-morning. It's not about forcing yourself, it's about fueling yourself, gently and intentionally. Now, while we're on the subject of morning routines, there's one more thing that often goes unnoticed, but it can quietly steal away your energy, motivation, and even your joy if you're not careful. It's starting the day in a negative mindset. Now hear me out, this isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything is perfect. Life has its challenges, especially as we get older. There are aches, there are losses, and sometimes, mornings feel heavy. But the way we talk to ourselves in those first few minutes of the day, it matters more than we think. Have you ever caught yourself waking up with thoughts like, another day, more of the same, or I'm just too old for this? It's easy to let those little thoughts slip in unnoticed. But over time, they shape how we see the world. And how we show up in it. Here's something simple you can try. Before you even get out of bed, take a moment to say something kind to yourself. It can be as simple as, today is a gift, or I've still got things to enjoy, or let's see what good might happen today. These aren't magic words, but they open a door. A door to possibility. To gratitude. To a softer, more compassionate way of facing the day. If you're someone who prays, meditates, or likes to reflect in the morning, that's wonderful. Even just a few deep breaths, looking out the window, noticing the light coming in, that can shift your whole mindset. A gentle morning doesn't mean a slow day. It means a grounded one. A day that starts with a little bit of peace, and maybe even a little bit of hope. And here's the truth, every age brings its gifts. Wisdom. Resilience. A deeper appreciation for the little things. So why not begin each day by leaning into those strengths instead of focusing on what's changed or what's been lost? When we let go of the idea that mornings are just about routines, and instead see them as an opportunity to care for ourselves, mind, body, and spirit, something really special happens. We begin to look forward to the start of each day, instead of rushing through it or bracing ourselves for what's ahead. We've talked about getting out of bed gently, drinking water, moving our bodies, eating with purpose, and shifting our mindset, but there's still one more mistake we haven't talked about yet. And it might just be the most subtle of all. It's the one that can creep into your morning without you realizing it, and affect your motivation, your relationships, and your sense of connection, and that last mistake is starting the day in isolation. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's just how my mornings are, I live alone, or my spouse is still asleep, and I like the quiet. And that's completely okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with solitude. In fact, a peaceful morning can be a beautiful thing. But what I'm talking about is something a little deeper, the quiet that doesn't feel peaceful. The kind that feels a little too quiet. A little too empty. For many people over 70, mornings can become the loneliest part of the day. The house is still, the phone isn't ringing, and it's easy to feel disconnected. Maybe the kids are grown and busy with their own lives. Maybe friends have moved away or passed on. And slowly, without even realizing it, we stop reaching out. We fall into a routine that doesn't include connection. And that can be dangerous, not just emotionally, but physically too. Studies have shown that loneliness can have real effects on our health. It can increase stress, impact sleep, raise blood pressure, and even weaken the immune system. And mornings, those first quiet hours, can set the tone for how connected or isolated we feel all day long. So, how do we gently shift this? It doesn't take much. Sometimes it's as simple as sending a good morning text to a grandchild or old friend. Calling a neighbor just to say hello. Joining a morning walking group, even once a week. Or starting your day with a favorite podcast or radio show, something that makes you feel like someone's there with you, even if it's just a friendly voice through the speakers. One woman I spoke to, her name was Lorraine, told me she used to feel really down in the mornings until she started doing what she called her morning hello tour. Each morning, she'd send a quick message to 3 people in her phone. Just a little, thinking of you, hope today is kind to you. And the amazing thing? It made her feel more connected too. Sometimes they'd respond, sometimes they wouldn't, but that small act reminded her she wasn't alone. And honestly, sometimes it's the giver of kindness who gets the biggest lift. If mobility is a challenge or going out isn't easy, even something like feeding the birds, tending to a small plant, or saying a little prayer for someone you love can create a sense of connection. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It just has to remind you that you're still part of something bigger, that your presence in the world still matters. Because it does. Now, let's take a step back together and look at the bigger picture. None of these morning mistakes, getting up too fast, skipping water, missing movement, eating the wrong breakfast, falling into a negative mindset, or isolating yourself, none of them make you a bad person or mean you're doing anything wrong. They're just habits. And habits can be shifted. They can be softened, replaced, reshaped. And it doesn't take a complete overhaul, it just takes one gentle change at a time. Maybe tomorrow morning, you try sitting up slowly before standing. Maybe you keep that glass of water next to your bed. Maybe you stretch your arms or open the window for some fresh air. Maybe you take 5 deep breaths, speak something kind to yourself, or send a message to someone you care about. That's it. That's the start. And here's what I want you to know, from one human being to another, it is never too late to take better care of yourself. Not in your 70s, not in your 80s, not ever. You are still here. You still wake up in the morning. And that means your body, your spirit, and your heart are still rooting for you. So why not root for yourself too? There's strength in choosing to do something small and kind for yourself each morning. There's power in creating a routine that supports you instead of depleting you. And there's real, lasting energy in knowing you're not just going through the motions, you're living with intention, even in the little things. So tomorrow, when the sun peeks through the curtains and your feet touch the floor, take that moment as a gift. A fresh start. A chance to say, I'm here. And today, I choose to feel good. If you found this helpful or if something we talked about today spoke to you, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe tell me your favorite part of your morning routine or something you'd like to improve. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I've got more tips, encouragement, and simple ways to make life better after 70 coming your way. And remember, no matter your age, no matter your routine, it's never too late to start the day with care, with purpose, and with heart. Here's to living your best life, one beautiful morning at a time.